Hey there friends! So the name of the game today is pirouettes, namely these poi dance moves that I love to do that involve turning my body around in a complete circle like so. And the thing is, I have a lot of different tricks that I like to team up with those pirouettes. So what are some of my favorites? Well, stay tuned to find out. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, the order of business is playing around with poi tricks that make a good fit for pirouettes. But before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Fire Mecca, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Paraterra Light Toys, and Ultra Poi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all these awesome companies and the work they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links down in the description of this video. And special thanks to the non-business friend of the channel, Pekka Pekkonen. Thank you so very much for supporting my channel, my work, and my mission. All right, so first order of business here. What do I mean when I refer to a pirouette? Well, a pirouette is a dance move wherein you turn around in a circle and you go up on one foot, up on your tippy toes, and the other foot gets involved in helping you out with the turn somehow. The lingo for this is that you have what's called the standing leg, that is the one that's still connected to the ground, and you have the working leg, that is the one that is helping you go up and around. There are two flavors of pirouettes, namely those in which you are turning in the direction of the working leg, which are referred to as in dehors, or you have those where you are turning in the direction of the standing leg, which is also referred to as in dedans. Now, please note, I am terrible at French, and I think it is just going to be better for our purposes if I refer to these by the translated names for them. So if you are turning in the direction of the working leg, it is an outside pirouette, and when you are turning in the direction of the standing leg, it is an inside pirouette. Make sense? And if this is all Greek to you and you need a guide on how to do pirouettes in the first place, stay tuned to the end of the video and I will point you to a tutorial that will help you out. But for right now, let's talk 5 tricks that are a great fit for pirouettes. Trick number 1, the Frankenstein. So the Frankenstein has the distinction of being the first poi trick that I think I ever used in conjunction with a pirouette, and that's because, in simplest terms, it was just the easiest way that I could make the two things work together. I call it the Frankenstein because really I'm just letting the poi stick out from either side of my neck like the bolts in Frankenstein's neck. I have to bring my hands up real close to my throat in order to make this happen, but that also helps out because it means that I am doing this turn from a place where I am conserving angular momentum, and that's helping me get around. Which, like, to be clear, if you just practice doing that inside pirouette by itself, all you need to do to get it into that Frankenstein territory is just let the poi out, and then kind of automatically the Frankenstein happens. All we do is just keep our hands close to us, right? It should also be said you can do this from a place where, say, you perform a stall out to each side, or, you could do it from a place where you're performing pendulums to each side as well. Your choice. All right, so the Frankenstein's a great place to start, but I think it's a little vanilla, so how about we get a little bit more poi movement involved in these pirouettes, yeah? Trick number 2, horizontal flowers. So I'm going to say horizontal flowers are probably one of the best candidates for a trick that is just a natural fit for doing pirouettes, not just because it keeps that motion in a horizontal plane, but also too because it adds just a little bit more interest with the movement of the poi as well. This is also the first trick we've seen on this list that I would argue works equally well as an inside or an outside pirouette. From both of these positions, you can pretty easily get up and around with the flower petals. It's just a question of which leg you want to have as your working leg. So let's take a look at both cases. Number 1, if I'm going to do the outside pirouette, I'm probably going to start with a jazz prep here. That means that I'm going to be down in plie with what is going to turn out to be my standing leg slightly forward and my working leg slightly back. The hand attached to the working leg side is going to be sticking straight out in front of me, and the hand attached to the standing leg side is going to be out to the side. From here, I can do my plie, come up, and what do you know about that? It's just a matter of spinning the poi around as I turn in place. I think it looks pretty cool, and of course you can decide whether you're going to have those petals be above your hands or whether you're going to have those pedals be below your hands, depending upon what you're looking to do with this and the effect you want to get. When it comes to doing the inside pirouette, I would probably start with the opposite stance, where I've got my standing leg forward and my working leg back. And from here, I can just go ahead and once again do my plie and come up with my right foot if I'm going to be turning to the left, and bring my poi either above my hands or keeping them below my hands, depending upon what effect I'm specifically looking to do here. You'll also note that as I'm doing this, I'm keeping my poi short. You don't have to. I just find that it makes the turns a little bit easier. You can also just as easily leave your poi full length. That will actually give you a little bit more time going through the turn if you want to kind of trick it out a little bit. But do bear in mind, this means that you are going to need to have more control so you can keep yourself up in the pirouette for a little bit longer. All right, so we've explored two different horizontal plane moves when it comes to our pirouettes. Now, let's move on to some vertical plane ones. Trick number 3, extensions. Extensions. The power of them lies in their simplicity and thus their flexibility. Because there's so little going on with the poi, it leaves a lot of room for us to do things with our bodies. And of course, important question when it comes to our extensions, what timing and direction mode do we want to be in as we're performing these pirouettes? Well, I'm going to be real with you. The answer is yes. Pirouettes are an appropriate fit for literally any timing and direction mode. You can do any of them and still make a pirouette work. This is again one of those cases where we're probably going to want to do our inside pirouettes. It is possible to do these with outside pirouettes, although I would argue it is just a little bit trickier to get there. But to do the inside version, we're basically going to be starting off, say, if you're going to do together same, you're going to be sweeping both of your hands in poi down and around as you're picking up your working leg, and that will carry you all the way through the turn. When it comes to together opposites, on the other hand, you want to use the momentum of both of the poi going up to carry your entire body up. And that will carry you around through the turn as well. One thing to watch out for here is to make sure that each of your hands is reaching around as far as they can as you're performing the turn. The reason being that now you're working in a place where one of the hands is working against the direction of momentum of your turn. So make sure that you're keeping your forces balanced here, otherwise you're going to have a really difficult time getting through the turn. Same thing for split time opposites. You want to make sure you're putting plenty of momentum into both poi as you take them around. Otherwise, you're going to find that you're going to get stuck in some spot. And please note that as you're doing the turn, you're going midway through the turn as the poi are sliding past each other over to the side. Your body kind of slips between the two planes. That's what makes this one work. And of course, the fun one, split time, same direction. Basically, you know that trick that we sometimes use in both crossers as well as watermills, where we focus on which poi we're following through the turn? You pick just one poi, and that winds up being your leader the entire way through. So with my left poi here, I'm going to follow it down, up, and down to get through my pirouette, or I can follow the right one going down, up, down if I want to go the other way. This is one of those places where you can get in an outside pirouette if you want to, but you kind of have to orient yourself against the poi rather than with it. So as I go down with my right hand here, I'm going to be pulling back with my right foot. It works. Just takes a little bit of work to get there. All right, so are we ready to add just a little bit of complexity to the poi? Excellent. Trick number 4, anti-spin flowers. So yeah, I'm willing to bet that this is the one that many of you out there have been waiting for, and has to be said that when it comes to poi moves that are absolute classics, when combined together with pirouettes, anti-spin flowers are really high on the list. And just like our old friend the extensions, anti-spin flowers will work with pirouettes in any timing and direction mode. Kind of. Personally, I think that the ones in together same are a little bit challenging to combine with pirouettes just because they take so long to get around and the momentum of the poi is working against the momentum of the hands. But pretty much any other timing and direction mode should be a good fit here. Okay, so now that we are dealing in anti-spin flowers, it does have to be said that the big challenge is no longer making the pirouette happen every time, but rather how to turn back and forth between the anti-spin flowers facing downstage as well as upstage. Because as we're going around here, we have to swap between these different planes in order to make the turning with the anti-spin flowers work. So how do we do that? So I've seen a variety of different ways that people tackle this particular challenge, and this is my personal approach. Just know that there are others out there, but this is the one that I find works for me. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to be swapping planes between the hands kind of on the fly. Let me show you. So for me, this starts off with my left hand high and my right hand low. I'm spinning my poi clockwise here. My hands are going to go around counterclockwise. And my first move is to go from top and bottom to out to the side. Now, as soon as I hit the side pedal, I'm swapping my left hand to the plane behind me. Now, that left hand is going to continue down while the right hand goes up. As the right hand goes up, I'm switching to the plane behind me now. So now I have both of the poi spinning what looks like counterclockwise relative to me, back here facing upstage, and I'm going to bring my left hand out to stage right and my right hand out to stage left. And when that happens, boom, once again, I'm going to switch my left hand to performing its spinning behind me while my right hand is still on this upstage plane. And then when my left hand goes up and my right hand goes down, boom, that's when I switch both poi into that downstage plane. So let me show you what that looks like from the side here. Again, I start left hand high, right hand low, and as they come down to the sides, boom, as I'm entering into the pedal on my left hand side here, my left hand is going to do a little tic-tac to bring it to the plane behind me. Then, as my left hand goes down and my right hand goes up, at the tip of the top pedal, I switch my right hand poi plane around to being on the same side as my left hand poi plane. Now, as they go out to the sides, I once again switch my left hand plane before the right hand plane, and as the left goes up and the right goes down, boom, that's when they both arrive in the same plane here. So it's left shifts, right shifts, left shifts, right shifts as I go around here. Check it out in slow motion. So the only step that's really left there to do is to get the feet involved and take it around either in an outside pirouette or in an inside pirouette. I almost always choose to do the inside pirouette, but that one is up to you, friends. And in case you're wondering, this same system works exactly the same way in both together opposite as well as split time opposite. Namely that I go ahead and switch the plane with one hand and then the other, switch the plane with one hand and then the other, and that will take me through the turn. As you can see, this also works in split time opposite. Switch one and then the other and bring it back around, like so. All right, so we have covered the Frankenstein, we've covered horizontal flowers, we've covered vertical flowers and extensions. So what could there be left for us to explore here? Trick number 5, spiral wraps. Hey, now we're cooking with gas. This one looks very unique and it poses some very interesting challenges too. So the whole theory behind this is that you are performing the pirouette in the opposite direction that the poi is spinning in, such that your momentum as you're going through the turn is going to cause the poi to perform a spiral wrap above your head and then automatically come back out of it. And I'll be the first to admit that this one is really counterintuitive and kind of difficult to get down. In fact, I had to do a bunch of takes to get that little bit of B-roll that I just showed you in slow motion. But here are some best practices. So first and foremost, I'm going to decide which way I'm going to turn. I'm going to say that I'm going to start by turning to my right. So that means that as I look down at me from above, I'm going to be turning around clockwise. And that means as I look down, I'm going to need to start with my poi spinning counterclockwise. I'm going to do this as an inside pirouette simply because I'm slightly more comfortable with inside pirouettes. But essentially what I'm going to look to do is bring the poi up and perform the spiral wrap as I'm turning through my upstage side here, and then they can come back out. Now, counterintuitively, if you want to just do these back to back, you actually have to continue the motion coming out of the last spiral wrap. So now I have the poi spinning clockwise as I look down on them from above, and if I want to perform that spiral wrap again, I have to go around to my left, counterclockwise. But hey, not that big a deal. I can perform a beat and go down and back up, a beat down and go back up, beat down, go back up, beat down, go back up, like so. In all of these cases, the momentum of the poi doesn't matter so much, because as you're closing in on the kind of nexus point of the spiral wrap, the poi, for all intents and purposes, are barely spinning anymore. It's that moment when they come together and you keep going that is going to add momentum to it. And that is the moment you need to watch out for, and make sure that you've got enough momentum going into your pirouette to be able to continue all the way through, even with the poi robbing some of your momentum at that very key point. And of course, obvious question, isn't it possible to do a spiral wrap in the same direction that you're turning in? Well, I mean, technically so, but you're going to find that you're going to have a very, very difficult time getting back out of it. Part of what makes it work to turn in the opposite direction that the poi is spinning in is that it gets you into the spiral wrap much, much sooner. If I go in the same direction as the spiral wrap, I'm not going to be able to get to the nexus point until the turn is completely finished. So when I go in the opposite direction, like so, it ensures that I am out of the spiral wrap by the time I come out of the turn. Awesome, so those were my picks for 5 poi tricks that go excellently with pirouettes. Which one was your favorite, and did I leave a favorite off of the list? Let me know down in the comments. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to help other people find this video, and of course, to help my channel grow. This video and all the videos on this channel would not be possible without my amazing supporters on Patreon. In particular, I'd love to give a shout out to my Flow patrons who are listed on screen right now. Thank you all so much, you rock. And if you out there watching would like to support the channel, I can offer you 3 awesome ways to do that. Number 1, if you'd like to get your name in the credits or access to a whole host of other awesome rewards, please check out my Patreon over at patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and sign up. If, on the other hand, you would prefer to just do a one-off donation, you don't want to sign up for a subscription service, I totally get it. You can send me a donation via either PayPal or Venmo. I am at DrexFactor on both platforms, and I will include links to do that down in the description. Thanks in advance. And hey, have you been hanging on this whole video to learn how to do your pirouettes because I promised it up front? Well, now I got you. I'm going to put up on screen a tutorial that I did several years ago on how to begin to get down your pirouettes so you can start putting them together with tricks like these. Awesome. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you get out and flow today, and I'll see you with a new video real soon. Take care now. Peace.